I don't believe in ghosts. Never have. And if you do, that's fine. But I've always thought those stories come from people who want to believe they matter after they're gone. I work seasonal firewatch. Did 4 parks so far. Mostly small towers, empty trails, long quiet nights. This one though. First time in Oregon. Place called Sweetwater Ridge. South of the National Forest boundary. Not well known. Off-grid. No ranger station, no running water. Just an old cabin and the watchtower a mile uphill. I took it because I needed quiet. And the pay. And because I didn't want to be around anyone after what happened with Elise. I don't want to talk about her. Not now. I got there in May. Still cold at night. Trees tall enough to block most of the wind. The tower creaked a little. But it held. Solid old timber, 30 feet up, 1 room, 1 cot, a propane heater that whined like a dying animal. No cell reception. Radio only. And even that cuts out in the rain. First 2 nights were fine. Nothing but wind and the sound of animals. Bears if you bang enough pots. Deer if you don't. On the 3rd night, just after midnight, I heard something I hadn't heard before. It was soft. Almost like whispering. But not language. It came from down below. Not close. But not far either. Somewhere past the base of the stairs. In the dark. I turned off the heater. Opened the hatch. Shined my flashlight. Nothing. Nothing moving. Nothing walking. Just trees. Too many trees. I told myself it was wind through pine needles. A trick of acoustics. Or maybe some teenager trying to be funny. The next morning, I mentioned it on radio check-in. Dispatcher just said, "Sweetwater, huh?" Then changed subject. Later that day, I hiked the perimeter. Looked for tracks. Found only mine. And a broken marker where the old ridge trail used to start. Half covered in moss. That night, I stayed up late. Listening. Nothing came. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was out there. Still. Waiting. The 4th night, I heard the voice again. Not whispering this time. But not words either. Just breath. Rhythmic. Slow. Not close. But getting closer. I sat up. Didn't move for a while. Just listened. It lasted maybe 10 minutes. Then nothing. I didn't sleep after that. Next morning I logged it. Possible local echo pattern, West Ridge. Just to make it feel like data. Later that day I called dispatch. Asked if anyone used to live out here. The guy on comms, Marty, I think, laughed a little. Said, "You're not the first to ask." I asked what he meant. And he told me about her. Late 90s. Girl named Emma Heron. Hiked out to Sweetwater alone. Never came back. Search teams found her pack near the ridge. Clothes folded neatly. No blood. No sign of struggle. Just gone. They called it a disappearance. Not a death. Some said she wandered. Some said she jumped. Others said the woods out there take things. But Marty didn't say any of that. He just said, "You'll hear her breathing before you hear her voice." And then the signal cut out. I stood in the tower a long time after that. Watching the tree line. No wind. No birds. Just the sound of my own blood in my ears. Around sunset, I climbed down. Walked a half mile toward the ridge. I don't know why. Maybe I just wanted to prove there was nothing there. But halfway there, I stopped. There were footprints. Bare. Small. Light impressions in the dirt. No shoes. No drag. Just steps. They weren't old. No leaves in them. No wash from rain. I followed them a little. Maybe 20 yards. Then they vanished into pine needles. I waited. Listened. Nothing. I turned back. But for the rest of the night, I kept thinking about something Marty said without saying it. You'll hear her breathing before you hear her voice. He didn't say if that was a warning or an invitation. The voice came back, but not as a whisper. It was low, steady. Just one word at first. Hello. I was already awake. Had been for hours. Just lying there on the cot, staring at the ceiling. The heater was off. The tower creaked once every few minutes. No wind. No moon. But the voice. Clear. From below. Not yelling. Not panicked. Like someone standing at the bottom of the stairs. Looking up. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just listened. Then it came again. Can you hear me? Not a question. A fact. Like she already knew the answer. I sat up slowly. Reached for the flashlight. Clicked it on. Nothing. The bulb stayed dark. I checked the batteries. They were new. Put them in myself that morning. Still. Nothing. Outside. A sound. Bare feet on wood. Slow steps climbing the stairs. I backed up. Pressed myself against the wall. The hatch was closed. But the steps stopped just beneath it. And then. Nothing. No knock. No voice. Just stillness. I don't know how long I stood there. But eventually I sat back down. Gripped the flashlight like a weapon. And then. A new sound. Closer. Inside. Not movement. Not breath. Just. A hand. On my shoulder. Not violent. Not sudden. Just soft. And cold. I turned fast. Swung the light like a bat. No one there. The air smelled like river water. And something sweet underneath. Like old perfume left in a box too long. I checked the hatch. Locked. Windows. Closed. I was alone. But I wasn't. I sat down again. Shaking. And then. Somewhere behind me. Barely loud enough to be real. She said. You came back. Next morning I told myself it didn't happen. Just a dream. Sleep paralysis. Flashlight failure. All explainable. I didn't log it. Didn't mention it to Marty on radio check. He asked how things were. I said fine. He paused. Like he knew. Then said. She talks to people she likes. I didn't answer. That afternoon I walked again. Not far. Just around the base of the tower. Checking for tracks. None. No bare feet. No animal signs. Just my own. But inside. The cot was moved 2 feet from the wall. And the heater was unplugged. I hadn't touched either. I told myself I forgot. It happens. Long nights. Thin sleep. Maybe I shifted things in the dark. But I kept hearing her voice. Not out loud. In memory. The way she said, "You came back." Like I'd been here before. But I hadn't. Never been to Oregon before this contract. That night, I went to bed early. Left the flashlight under the pillow. Checked the door latch 3 times. Nothing happened. No steps. No sound. No breath. Until just before dawn. She said my name. Not loud. Not near. Just somewhere. Between waking and not. Ben. Soft. Familiar. Not questioning. Just recognizing. I sat up. Sweating. Heart hammering. I'd never said my name aloud. Not on the radio. Not in the log. Not in the air. No one knew it but the agency. And Elise. I opened the hatch. Stepped outside. Air freezing against my skin. Looked out over the tree line. Fog moving through the pines. Low. Thick. Slow. I didn't see anyone. But I felt it. Not danger. Just presence. Like someone was waiting for me to say it back. I stopped logging the nights. They started to bleed together. Same fog. Same air. Same cold. And always. Just before dawn. Her voice. The same phrase. You came back. Sometimes with my name. Sometimes not. Never closer. Never farther. Just there. Like a line from a song you forgot you knew. I tried to break the pattern. Stayed up late. Kept the heater running. Drank too much coffee. Wrote in a notebook till my hands cramped. Nothing worked. I'd lie down for a moment. Just to rest my back. And wake up. Hearing her. One night. I moved the cot to the far corner. Turned the chair toward the door. Put my boots by the hatch like barricades. Next morning. The boots were under the bed. The chair was back by the window. Cot. Centered. I didn't touch any of it. I called dispatch. Asked for a check-in from Marty. Got static for 20 seconds. Then a voice I didn't recognize said, "Sweetwater Ridge no longer active." Then silence. I called again. No answer. 2 hours later. Marty called back. Asked if I was okay. Like nothing had happened. I didn't ask about the voice. That night. I left the recorder running. Old handheld one. Nothing fancy. Next morning I played it back. 6 hours of nothing. Wind. Tower creaks. A distant owl. And then. 3:27 a.m. Her voice. Clear. Steady. Like she was sitting next to the mic. You came back. You came back. You came back. 10 times. Same tone. Same pause. Then. Why did you leave me? I never heard that part. Not in person. Just on tape. It happened on the 12th night. Or the 13th. I'd stopped counting. I was half asleep. Heater off. Air sharp. The hatch creaked open. Not loud. Not fast. Just. Moved. I hadn't unlatched it. I sat up. Heart frozen. Moonlight came in behind her. Thin. Bent by the fog. But I saw the shape. A girl. Bare feet. Long shirt. Hair pulled back. Arms at her sides. Not walking. Not climbing. Just standing on the landing below. Not looking up. Not looking anywhere. I didn't speak. I couldn't. Something in me said, "Stay still. Don't name her." The longer I watched, the more certain I became. I'd seen her before. Not here. Not in life. Not in photos. In a dream maybe. Or something close to it. That moment between sleep and thought. Where faces drift by. People who feel familiar but aren't. It was her. I knew her face. Even though I couldn't see it. Then she turned. Not toward me. Just slightly. As if listening. I felt it in my teeth. A low vibration. Like a storm coming through the ground. And she said. Not loud. Not soft. "You forgot me." Not an accusation. Just true. I blinked. And she was gone. Just fog. Moonlight. And stairs that never moved again. I tried to call out. Radio was dead. No static. No tone. Just silence. I replaced the batteries. No change. I grabbed the field book. The one I'd filled since day one. Weather notes. Map sketches. Animal sightings. Her voice. The pages were blank. Not torn. Not faded. Just blank. Like nothing I wrote ever happened. I checked the calendar. Same page as last week. No marks. No dates scratched off. The canned food I brought. 6 cans missing. But I didn't remember eating them. I found a note in my own handwriting. Taped to the window. It said, "Don't talk to her." I don't remember writing it. I went outside. Walked the trail. Saw my own footprints. Looped. Over and over. Not going anywhere. I followed them. Half a mile. They brought me back to the tower. Again. I stopped trying to understand. The sun moved. But didn't rise. Didn't fall. Just hovered. Like it forgot what came next. Inside. My cot had been moved again. Centered. Just like before. And on it. Her name. Scratched into the metal frame. Not carved. Not messy. Carefully. Letter by letter. Emma. I whispered it. Once. And the heater turned off. Not clicked. Not failed. Just stopped. I sat down. Waited. Nothing moved. And I thought. Maybe I never came here. Maybe I never left. Maybe I've always been up in this tower. Watching trees that never end. They found the tower in late July. 2 months after I stopped checking in. Rangers said the gear was still inside. Maps. Notebooks. Radio. Intact. Food mostly untouched. Cot made. Flashlight working. No sign of forced entry. No sign of anyone leaving. Just missing. They logged it as desertion. Contract abandoned. Unexplained. But Marty knew better. He said, "That place takes what it wants." They found a cassette in the desk drawer. Tape unmarked. Old. But working. They played it back. Just static at first. Then. My voice. Tired. Flat. Speaking slowly. Describing the trees. The fog. Her face I couldn't see. And then. Her voice. Soft. Calm. Closer than mine. She said. He stayed. He didn't leave me. And then the tape ended. They never found me. Just my name. Scratched into the cot. Next to hers. Ben. Emma. Some nights. They say the fire tower lights flicker. Even when the power's cut. And if you walk near Sweetwater Ridge. Just before dawn. You might hear a voice from above. Not asking for help. Not crying out. Just saying hello. Because sometimes what haunts a place doesn't want to scare you. It just doesn't want to be alone. The end.